What's going on, guys? Back today talking about the NHL 19 beta. It's been out for almost a week now. It's a Tuesday. We only got a couple of days left of beta-ness. Unless they want to give us an extra day because, you know, the server was down for like an hour and a half on that Thursday. And you guys know an hour and a half of server downtime equals like 3 extra days of beta. But regardless, most of us know the beta comes out for a couple reasons. One of them being, you know, let's woo over the fans, right? Get them to buy the game. Second, and more importantly, EA wants feedback from the beta on how they can make the game better here in about the month they have to fix it. Month and a couple of weeks. September 15th, right? September 15th. So about a month and about 6 weeks they got to improve some bugs and glitches in the game for the fans, for the people, to make the game better when it does actually officially come out in September. That being said, today, as much as I have loved playing the beta so far, and it is night and day better skating-wise and whatnot compared to NHL 18. When you get back in NHL 18, it's like, oh man, what have I been missing my whole life, right? You don't notice it as much until you go back to NHL 18. I mean, you love the game, and it's like, man, you go back to NHL 18, it's like, oh man, holy cow, they improved the game quite a bit. But at the same time, you have to go out there and EA asks for the feedback. We're going to give some feedback. Like I said, love playing the game so far. That's the positive side. But there's always going to be things they got to work on. And today we have 3 things I think EA needs to fix in the beta before the game comes out. Please, pretty please, I think it's at the top of the priority list. At least my 3 things that would be at the top of the priority list. Everybody's is different. Love to hear those 3 things maybe you guys would like to see changed, updated a little bit down below as well. But first of all, let's get this started. One of the bigger issues that I think could actually just make threes mode in general just unplayable and unenjoyable, and that's this full ice slap shot. It's, call it a glitch, call it not a glitch, call it bad defense, call it whatever you want, but it's pretty much, these guys are going to sit here and rag the puck in their defensive zone and wait for you to chase them in a threes game, and it's going to work because in threes, technically, you can just go out there and rag the puck and nothing's going to happen. Somebody has to chase him, right? Because there's only 3 people on the ice. One person can chase him. All of a sudden, there's only 2 people defending. The person's good with the puck. They can dodge out one person, continue to rag a little bit until a second person comes in and tries to make the play. You have 2 people to chase. All of a sudden, it's just 1 defender back, 2 forwards up. What do? They full ice slap shot that puck. It goes all the way down to the boards. It bounces off the back of the boards, bounces, kicks up. And a lot of times, you're going to see it go right to the guy on your team, and you're going to see this goal go in. It's, like I said, something that can make the game very, very unenjoyable. I feel like this was in the game before, like the beta or something at a previous time. And like I said, you can't defend it because the guy can rag the puck in the defensive zone waiting for 2 people to chase. Once 2 people chase, it becomes a 2-on-1 pretty much of the 2 forwards versus the 1 defender. First one to grab the puck, you know, and I mean, come on, let's be honest with the defenseman. Nobody's going to perfectly time where that puck slap shots and ricochets off. And because 2 white jerseys versus 1 dark one, whatever you want to say, 2 dark, 2 white, whoever's at home, right? You get the 66% chance of grabbing that puck. And it's, when's the last time that happened in hockey, right? Like, it's one thing if it's a hockey play, but there's nobody doing that ever. That's unrealistic. It's something that just makes the game, like I said, it can ruin threes. If enough people start doing that, I can tell you, I love playing threes. I haven't played it since then, though. I'm completely honest. Like, I literally have not played threes since this game right here that I'm showing you where these guys slapped. It made it completely unenjoyable for me. I hope they fix it. I love threes. Threes is honestly my favorite mode to play. I would play threes, 3v3 over 66 probably any day. I love all the open ice. I love playing it. LB is like, chel, you know, all the great stuff. But they got to fix something like that because that's one reason I love threes too. Like, you control your destiny. There's not a lot of glitching, not a lot of depending on the AIs because you can grab 3 people real quick. It ain't like you're playing 4-on-4 with 6s and 2 compies or something like that, and so forth. So please fix that full ice slap shot glitch there they got going on their EA. That'd be great. Speaking of glitches and stuff you see exploited, these guys did a great job of it. Beta was serious, boys. These guys are going to town on us in this game when it came to the glitches. Call me bad, whichever you want. Like, just the beta. I'm just here to have fun in the beta. Like, I ain't, you know, taking it too seriously. I'm just kind of, you know, sitting back, enjoying it. Whatever, right? Far side glitch goals. They're already out. Everybody's doing them, and it's crazy. And I mean, what's the far side glitch goal, right? You're going to come in. You're going to come in at the circle. You're not going to cut in. That's the crazy thing about this, and the reason I think they need to fix it is because if you do like a, you know, short side cheese, snipe, whatever, right? You're going to come in from like the circle. You're going to cut into the slot. And then you're going to short side the goalie. And it's like, well, you just let the guy cut into the slot. Of course he's going to let that go in, right? Like, you let him cut into the slot. Now, I think that one right there, but the between the legs explains it the best. Unfortunately, like I said, I don't have a whole lot of examples for this one because I literally haven't played it. I'm going to play some more today. I'm going to give it a second chance, but I was just so frustrated after playing this game. But, you know, when you shoot between the legs, the shot, let's be honest, it's just like a dead duck, a muffin thrown up there. It's nothing strong at all. It's a weak shot. And granted, he had all that open ice. The fact that he went between the legs and still far-sided that goalie with that weak between the leg shot like that kind of shows like there's a flaw with the goaltending when you get to throw a little dud duck like that up there and it still goes in. The thing with this far side glitch goal, you don't have to cut it into the slot. You can skate a straight line on the outside, quote-unquote outside. I'm not going to say complete outside because it's not like you're against the boards. But in an area where you would consider a good defensive positioning because you're keeping a guy to the outside of you, right? But instead, they can come to the outside of you like that. They can pull it back in, pull it forehand real quick, throw the puck far side, and the goalie lets it in. And a lot of this, you look at it, I just feel like the goalie's not in good position for it. Like, it's not like it's a glitch or it's like, oh, you should defend that better. Like I said, you got to push to the outside. He's just sniping a goalie, and the goalie's just not in position. I think it's just a tweak they need to make with the goalie. If they can fix that, that'd be great. That'd be greatly appreciated, so I don't have to see these far-side cheeses all the time. Like I said, you're going to let the short-side guy walk into the slot. That's fine and dandy. You're going to let him throw a one-timer. Fine and dandy. You're going to give it the breakaway. You glitch goal. Fine and dandy, because you could have controlled that. But when you're playing solid defense, at least in my opinion, coming up on the side like that, you're keeping him to the outside, and he can just easily do that. I think it's got to be kind of tweaked a little bit there. It shouldn't be going in that easily, especially like a lot of them are weak too and they're going in. Then my third and final thing is we finally added attributes kind of back into the game. Now I want the effectiveness of these attributes. Big changes being made here. Big changes on the ice as far as what different attributes do, I guess, as far as hitting, stick checking, you know, speed and all that stuff. First of all, I'm glad they brought hits back in the game. Another plus for EA because, let's be honest, it was pretty irrelevant for the longest time because, yeah, you could hit people, but you was pretty much just giving up an odd man rush. Like, being completely fair because the hitting was so, like I said, the skating is so much better this year. When you pivoted, you aim towards guys like you animated aim properly. Now when you actually aim and you try to hit guys like you skate into them properly instead of losing speed or cutting the wrong angle because, like I said, it was just the skating in general that caused hitting to be so impossible to do. Now you can lay the body on guys and it's a little bit easier and it, you know, takes away the stick checking aspect of the game a lot because, well, you can't really stick check, you're taking a penalty anyway. Which brings up the point about the attribute effectiveness. Because this hitting stuff's great and all, but to be honest, it's really easy to hit. And the thing with stick checking is you could protect yourself. Like when people would spam the poke check, you could curl the stick back for the most part and dodge. With hitting, if these guys just breathe on you, you're falling over. Like there's no protecting the puck. And I think I'm not going to complain about the hitting because I'm glad they have it. And I feel like you could maybe just tweak it a smidge down because like it's the same thing with stick checking. People want to argue stick checking could be tweaked a little bit. I'm fine with it. I could get over it. But at the same time, I could understand it going up. But the hitting, just like stick checking, you're not hitting somebody from behind when they're skating forward. I think that's a problem. I mean, you hit somebody from behind when they're stopped, but you do get hit from behind when you're like skating away from a guy. Like, I see it all the time in ones. I guess that's different than 3s and 6s and everything else. But you shouldn't be getting hit from behind when you're skating away from a guy. Like, it's not going to happen, especially from a bigger guy. And that's where I bring up attribute effectiveness. If we're going to have guys that can, you know, absolutely demolish guys that are 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", they shouldn't be catching these guys that are smaller from behind, knocking them off the puck, because they should have speed, they should be faster. If we're going to have guys that can do all this hitting and checking and whatever else not, there should be different builds that you can clearly tell have an attribute effect. Like, that's great, you can hit them, it's a lot easier and everything, but you shouldn't be keeping up with the guys that are 5'8", 5'9", 5'10", like that's where I said the hitting from mine shouldn't even be possible. Because logistically speaking, the guy that's faster should be faster. And I know the speed thing's such a difficult thing, to say the least, for EA to mess with, because you're always going to have people complaining like, oh, this guy's faster than me and this guy's slower, but at the same time, there should be a difference. You should be sacrificing. I feel like you don't feel that speed difference. Like, there's times where you can say, oh, I got the speed burst here and there, but at the same time, one thing I've noticed about 3s and whatever else not they do is, when you're in a defensive zone, when you're, you know, the other team has a puck breaking it out, you're fast. When you're breaking it out, you're a little bit slower. It's always been, for whatever reason, somehow they have it programmed so you can, you know, catch the guy from behind and, you know, so you can bail yourself out defensively a little bit more, which is, I don't know, I've never really agreed with it, I guess. Don't play bad defense. Don't get beat, and you'll be fine. But it's just going back to, if you're going to be able to hit guys, that's absolutely fine. But the guy that's 5'8" can't hit people. So why should the guy that's 5'8" that can't hit people not be able to skate away from the guy that's 6'7" that can destroy people? Like, right now, that should be the difference. If a guy can hit, that's great, but he's got to be slower. If a guy can be fast, that's great, but he can't hit, he's going to suffer in the stick checking department, you know, everything else. It makes sense. He's going to get bodied a lot easier, but he should have the speed and agility noticeably different than these guys that can hit and check, because that's got to be part of the difference in the attributes. Like I said, the attribute effectiveness, if that's what we're going to call it. Like, the guys that are snipers technically are for maybe 3 or 4 or 5 different overall speed-wise, but you don't notice it a lot in ESHL. Especially when you play in bigger modes, you don't notice it a lot. And I feel like, I guess the acceleration is something that has to be a little bit different. When you're coming for the hit, you can excel away from a little bit easier. It's got to be a little bit of balancedness, I think. That's where I think they've struggled. Like, for the longest time, it was stick check spamming. Now you can't stick check spam and people are flipping out. Well, if the game never had it in the first place, everyone would probably be flipping out about the hits right now. Like, oh, it's the only thing people can do is hit, right? They need to find that balance. Hopefully, and they can find that balance where you can still stick check, but you can still hit. But I brought up attribute effectiveness because maybe if a guy's like a 75 stick checking, then yeah, they should take a penalty a lot easier. I mean, penalties are very easily taken right now. But maybe if a guy's got like an 85 to a 90 stick checking, you still take penalties for spamming it. You still take penalties for making bad pokes. But if you're right in front of the guy and you didn't, maybe the accuracy, the auto aiming, stick checking component should be better for you to where you don't poke into the guy's skates because you do have that 90 if you're in front of him, because you do see that a lot right now. And I know that's what's upset some people is you're right in front of the guy, or you're right beside him and you poke him and you just nip the skate or something. Well, maybe if you have a guy with a higher stick checking, the attribute actually does affect something, and then you don't have to worry about tripping the guy's nuts, right? Like, that's my other thing on that. Like I said, also, we brought it up, bring it up again, the size and weight proportion. You're a bigger guy, you're not going to be skating faster. It's logic. It's not happening. You don't see Chara coming down the ice, crunching somebody like Nikita Kucherov from behind, BA. That's just kind of what I'm getting at here. Fix the attribute effectiveness. That might be the toughest one of the 3 to fix. I don't know. Maybe it's not. I would like to see that one fixed, though, just for the balance of the game and everything else. That's my 3 things I think can be fixed, though. Like I said, if you guys have 3 things you want to see fixed, EA's looking for the feedback. Feel free to give it to them. I think they have a link somewhere. I forget. It's on this. Actually, it's on the game. But it's a weird link that you can't click because you're playing Xbox, right? So you really can't click it there. You got to type it in. But you can get feedback there as well in the game. I know they're looking for it. Always some constructive criticism. Just don't be like, oh, yeah, you blow. Hate your game. Never buying it again. I'm sure they're not looking for that kind of criticism. Maybe something they can work on. Hopefully, something like this can be worked on. Otherwise, though, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.